Introducing Royal Caribbean's newest ship, Icon of the Seas, the ultimate family vacation. The ultimate 6 slides, 8 neighborhoods, 0 compromise vacation. The ultimate never done that, can't wait to do it vacation. The ultimate chillin' by a different pool every day of the week vacation. This is the Icon of Vacations. Icon of the Seas, arriving in 2024. Book today. Come seek the Royal Caribbean. Ships Registry, Bahamas.
Hello again, hockey fans. Are you ready to brave the wild? With me, your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Wygen. Brave the Wild is available on thesportstuff.com, iTunes, Stitcher, and Double Twist. Thank you for joining once again today. We certainly have a lot to get to in this week where the Minnesota Wild finished 2-1. Yep, 2-1, which is the good part. That's the good news. The bad news is Zach Parise and Jason Pominville have the mumps.
I mean, that's freaking awful.
Yeah, it's like, here we go again. We're back to the mumps again. I mean, really? Remember when the St. Louis Blues all had it for all that time? A couple years back, the mumps are back. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. But what a mess of a week. Just a mess. Yet we finished 2-1. Go figure. It's a club that knows how to win hockey games, and that's about it. We'll talk about Avery Peterson today. Got a nice article from Pavel Bunyet out there. And, of course, we're going to continue to talk about the other prospects and just ups and downs with the club, the trade, of course. Martin Hanzal and Ryan White acquired from the Arizona Diamondbacks. No, I'm kidding. The Arizona, I'm just teasing, Arizona Coyotes. Much to Shane Doan's chagrin, he was pretty ticked off. Well, also, I'm going to play a clip from the Boudreau press conference after the Columbus game. That was extremely frustrating. And, after this week, don't you just hate the Columbus Blue Jackets now? And the way they beat us on New Year's Eve was just frustrating. And then this one, what the hell? Really a 1-0 game. And, of course, the way things turned in that one as well. Just 1-0, yet, man, it just, you feel like we should have won that game or at least got a point out of it. Disgusting and frustrating. Martin Hanzal acquired from Arizona, big, burly, third-line center from Pavel's country over there. Yes, sir, in the Czech Republic. Also, you have Ryan White, who I'm impressed with him as well. Hanzal brought in basically to be a third-line center for this club. And, boy, this club has so many centers on it. It's unbelievable when you look at the situation. Because Ryan White can play center. He has played center in the past, a fourth-line center, a fourth-line winger. When you look at the different number of centers on this club, it just shows the depth this team has. So if there are injuries, you can work around them. You put Eric Holla down to the fourth line, which has kind of been going on when you had Coyle as the third-line center. Now you can move Coyle back to the wing. See, it's just like, wow, it's all over the place. Bringing Eric Stahl in created that domino effect, which created a huge amount of depth for this club. Now you bring in Hanzal and White, which can make it even better. And White's been pretty good, and Hanzal's been good as well. Very solid. Really impressed with Ryan White thus far. Everybody likes that guy across the league. Just a character player to have in your locker room. And he's actually kind of good, too. He's not bad at all. He was with Philadelphia. They wanted to keep him. They were unable to last year. So it kind of is what it is. Both players are going into the summer as free agents, unrestricted free agents, of course. So we're going to have to make decisions there. Ryan White, so far, 3 points in the 3 games he has been with the Minnesota Wild. And Mr. Hanzal had 2 assists in the Winnipeg game. So not too bad, not too bad. Good start to their at least rental months with the Minnesota Wild, depending on how things go. Timo Pulkkinen got frustrated, and I figured this was going to happen. I mean, a guy who probably, he should be a fringe fourth-line, third-line NHL player, I think, but it just wasn't going to happen here the way things were going. And, he's a great AHL player, and he's a fringe bottom six guy in the NHL. A guy with the talent, you think he could even be a second-line guy if he could be just a step quicker. And it's just, that's kind of what's going on. He's one of those guys who's kind of good at everything but not great at anything, and there's a lot of players like that in sports, and they're the ones that kind of tend to be the fringe guys that don't get over the hump. Tyler Gravelock, all this, man, there's a lot of player movement going on here. Zach Dulp put on waivers. Gravelock was put on waivers. He ended up clearing waivers, going back to Iowa, and then getting called up again because the mumps struck. And ever since then, Tyler Gravelock has been fantastic, and we'll talk about why as well. why Tyler Gravelock has been fantastic. Of course, the two games we'll say real quick, Monday and Tuesday, February 27 and 28, LA and Winnipeg. But Gravelock also, he's been playing on the wing now. And he's been better on the wing. So that's the exciting part. Again, let's mention the number of centers on this club here. I mean, let's just analyze this. You got Eric Stahl, number 1, Koivu, number 2, at the moment, Hensel, number 3, and then number 4 is Eric Halla. And then you add the fact that Coyle is this, can play center. He's played center many times in his career. Jordan Schrader has played center in his career. He's been a center many times, and he's on the wing at times as well. Mikael Granlund has played center most of his career, and look at how good he's been on the wing. And Tyler Gravelock has played center, and he's doing pretty good on the wing. This is the first time we've seen him on the wing pretty much this season. When he's been up with the Minnesota Wild, he's been the fourth-line center, and it's been very unproductive for the most part through his first 45 games or so, 46 games. But this past week at the wing, on the fourth line, he's been downright fantastic. And he's been also shuffled around because, he's generally the fourth line guy, but occasionally he'll go up to third, and you get the idea. And Ryan White played some top line. He's played fourth line. He's played third line. He's all over the place. And, of course, Ryan White also can play center. I mean, you have at least 7 centers on the roster. How crazy is that? At least 7. And even Zach Dolp was a center, but he has been claimed. So, unfortunately, Zach Dolp will no longer be with the Minnesota Wild. Mr. Timo Pulkkinen ended up getting traded to the Arizona Coyotes, and he scored in his first game for future consideration, so basically almost given away. But we'll get something back, whatever it is. Maybe it's a late pick or cash or whatever it is. But you got several centers on this club. You got the depth, but unfortunately a very sloppy week. And the fear is Jonathan Quick coming back. You have this big trade with the Kings and the Tampa Bay Lightning, Ben Bishop coming in. It was like, wait a minute, what does that mean? Quick isn't healthy? And I don't know, he wasn't too sharp in the game against Minnesota on Monday, February the 27th, the end of the Wild's extremely long homestand. And a fun homestand it was indeed. A nice 5-4 win for the Wild, but again, 5-4. That's kind of ugly. Devin Dubnyk, not one of his better games. Jonathan Quick, not one of his better games. I mean, you think Jonathan Quick and Devin Dubnyk, maybe 3-2, 2-1, 2-2 going into overtime type of thing. And, of course, Gaborik scored. What a big shocker. But, yeah, Ben Bishop. I mean, Budaj, who's been so good for the LA Kings, sent to Tampa Bay for Ben Bishop. Interesting trade, as Bishop was looked on as the franchise goalie. But the guy who has replaced him during the course of the season has just been absolutely fantastic there in Tampa. So it just kind of is what it is. You got so much. If you have 2 good goalies and one of them's too expensive, might as well make that move. And of course, the Kings were willing to give up Budaj, who's one of the better backups in the league, and he did a great job during the course of this season. So it is what it is. Mikael Granlund continuing to be awesome. Unfortunately, unable to get any points in the Columbus game because nobody got points. But over the course of the week, Granlund just adding the assists and the goals. Of course, couple goals, including a spectacular one in the overtime period. His 300th game and his 20th goal this season. Now, nice little milestones for Mr. Mikael Granlund. Again, a 5-4 victory. This game didn't start too well. Nick Shore, nice kind of one-timer play off of Marian Gaborik, 5th goal of the year, and then Niederreiter tips in a pass from Jared Spurgeon. What a nice play there, indeed. Kind of trying to put the puck on that, but also trying to set up Nino Niederreiter. Nice deflection. And the number 20 again. Remember last week you had the number 17. Now you're getting the number 20 all over the place in this game. 20th goal for Niederreiter. 20th goal for Tanner Pearson. That was extremely frustrating. What? I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. That was not a good goal. It is what it is, though. And again, this is Devin Dubnyk, not Darcy Kemper in net. Jordan Schrader was able to tip the puck off of a LA defender and put it in for his 4th goal of the year. Tie game. Jake Muzzin, 8th goal of the season. Again, this one, Dubnyk. I mean, the last 2 goals here were like, what the hell? Really? The Gaborik goal kind of was what it was. He was kind of left on his own, kind of just... Nate Prosser just could not get his stick on the puck, and it got to Gaborik. I thought Nate Prosser was going to deflect that, but then Gaborik was all by himself with an open door there, and Dubnyk just couldn't get there in time. So 4 goals allowed for Devin Dubnyk. But boy, that Muzzin goal and Pearson goal, it just kind of left you like, what? Oh my goodness, that doesn't look like Dubnyk. It just kind of looked like he was frozen and the puck went over his shoulder. When Dubnyk's not on his game, and you can really beat that guy on the shoulder, and it happened twice in this game. Of course, Jonathan Quick, first game back since the season opener. So no Ben Bishop in net. That's kind of funny. But Jonathan Quick in net, where I was scared thinking about that. but luckily things did work out at the end of the day. Jason Zucker, very clutch goal to tie things up with 7 minutes remaining. Thank you very, very much for that. A nice play as Krajewak and Zucker kind of working together here. This was during a penalty kill. Actually, no, this was not. This was just during a line change, pardon me, and a fortunate situation, we got to say, with this goal. Krajewak able to finally get his first assist of the season, and Schrader adding his 7th. Jason Zucker able to tie things up. Thank God for that, and a good play by Jason Zucker, without a doubt. Jason Zucker hasn't gotten lucky all year. He's just been good the entire season. And then the play of the whole week, and why this wasn't the number one goal of the week on NHL Network. Instead, they gave it to Panic on basically kind of a one-timer play. Really? That's the goal of the year? Is Panic's goal? I don't know. Or no, it wasn't a one-timer. It was a wrist-star. But still, come on. Where this one, now Koivu wins the face-off and zings it up, and they got it back to Spurgeon, who put it forward to Granlund. Granlund beats 3 defenders, basically, on the play. Just a spectacular play, as, of course, it's 3-on-3 hockey anyway. He goes right through all the LA Kings, gets near the ground, goes low, and beats Jonathan Quick low left. Awesome play, and 20th goal of the season. Just 6 seconds into overtime, or was it 12 seconds into overtime? Great play, and the Wild escape. Jonathan Quick smashes his stick on the boards, and that was it. He broke his stick. The poor thing, that poor stick did not have a long night. Oh, poor guy, or did not have a long life. Jonathan Quick just coming back with that thing, and gone it went. Frustrating night for Jonathan Quick, but it kind of is what it is. At least the Kings got a point, I suppose. You know how things go. Overtime losses are extremely frustrating, but hey, we'll take it. Ryan White adding a goal and an assist along the way. Nice play, Ryan White in on that one. On a play from Eric Stahl, tipping in the pass, and Ryan White able to finish 8th goal of the season. Welcome to the Minnesota Wild, Ryan White. And he was also, again, able to get an assist on the Niederreiter goal as him and Spurgeon teamed up for the Niederreiter goal very early in the game. Ryan White getting introduced to the Wild fan base very early and often in the Kings game. Thank you very much. Victory for the Minnesota Wild. And the mess continues. This is a classic Darcy Kemper game, and this reminded me of Game 7 of Minnesota versus Colorado 2014 with Darcy Kemper in net. Darcy Kemper did not get a concussion, at least, so you didn't have to replace him in that 7th game. But this was very similar, as the whole time Winnipeg would take the lead and the Wild would tie it up. Winnipeg would take the lead and the Wild would tie it up. And Kemper did not look good the whole time. Just did not look good at all the whole night. I mean, it was just really... Kemper was back to his old self, and this is where you want to look at Alex Stalock, possibly. Now, my buddy Chris over there in San Jose Sharks Land, we'll talk about that a little bit more in the second segment, but that show has aired, by the way. Pucknology, look it up, iTunes, Stitcher, and Double Twist out there. Double Twist and iTunes mirror, but it's definitely at least on iTunes and Double Twist, because Double Twist mirrors iTunes for Android devices. Check it out, Pucknology. I'm on there, the newest show. It's finally airing because Minnesota and San Jose are playing. It, again, is a San Jose Sharks show. Patrick Lane, one of those rising stars in this league, scores very early in the game, and it's like you just knew Kemper wasn't going to be on. It wasn't a bad goal, but it's just already, and you knew it was going to affect Darcy Kemper, and it did. But luckily, the Wild would score 4 consecutive goals. So you think everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be just fine. Hellebuck, not so good. Winnipeg's goaltending, not what it's been the past couple of years. And Granlund off of a nice lead pass from Mikko Koivu. Just awesome. An awesome lead pass by Koivu. Granlund, similar goal to the game before, going low on the left side. Again, awesome play. Beating Hellebuck. Just exactly 2 minutes after Patrick Lane's goal. He's the Patrick Kane of the Winnipeg Jets, unfortunately for us. Yep, he's the next Patrick Kane, at least for Winnipeg's point of view. 31st goal of the year, by the way. Granlund's 21st goal of the year. Just, wow. How could you not love Granlund? And then the Krajewak goal. Gotta like that. Granlund, what an amazing play. Martin Hanzal able to get his first assist with the Minnesota Wild. We're very happy for him here. His 11th of the season. Able to include here, getting the puck to Granlund. Granlund almost finishing, and then just doesn't quit. He gets 2 attempts on Hellebuck, and as he's going down, it was like a Parisi type of play as he was getting attacked. His helmet was knocked off, and then zung that thing over, centering pass to Krajewak, who finished with the 7th goal of the season. Really cool indeed. Again, interesting group of players out there. 3 centers, actually. 3 centers out there, and it worked out great. Nice to see Erik Haula on the power play. Again, Granlund, another assist. Erik Haula using Hellebuck's backside or back of his pads, whatever you want to say, his lower shins on the backside. Done by design. Great play by Haula. All of a sudden, it's a 3-1 game at the end of the first period. This was on the power play. Granlund, again, getting the assist there. Nice pass from Granlund, and Haula at the angle he was at. The only way you can score is literally using the back of the goalie to deflect the puck in the net, and it's exactly what Erik Haula did. Awesome. And Stewart with a rare 5th assist of the season. Nice. Scandella doing what he does, putting the puck on net. This one got through Hellebuck, who was it just wasn't his night, unfortunately for him. Martin Hansel adding another assist there. Good for him. So 2 assists on the night. And then things got started. Oh, you knew it was coming, didn't you? You knew it was coming. Adam Lowry, 11th goal of the season. And it just continues from here. The snowball effect continues. As you'd see, multiple goals just go right past Kemper. He's out of position. And the Winnipeg Jets would continue until this game was tied up. Ryan White would add his 5th goal of the season, though. That was wonderful. We appreciated it very much. Chris Stewart, again, Chris Stewart getting his 2nd assist of the game, if you can believe that. Sixth assist of the year. 2 assists for Chris Stewart. I mean, what the hell? Are pigs flying? And this is just a weird game. 9th goal of the season for Ryan White, and then it was 3 more goals in a row for Winnipeg. I mean, every one of them extremely frustrating. You think, would Dubnyk be able to stop these? I think so, including one that would bounce off the carom and off of Kemper's back. It's like, I don't know, could he not see the puck or whatever it was? Just, I don't know. Kemper just, it just seems like he's always in the wrong place at the wrong time, doesn't it? If it's not his night, it's always magically in the wrong place, and that's exactly what took place. Perrault, Armia, and Sheva with a good one. Sheva was a good goal. But it was extremely frustrating at the same time. It's like, again, would Kemper have been there on time? Maybe, maybe not, whatever. And Zucker was getting roughed up the whole night, and the Winnipeg Jets were kind of not happy with Zucker either. I don't know if Zucker was lipping off or what it was, but you saw continued aggression towards Jason Zucker. So you can imagine the Winnipeg Jets were steaming after this one. Erik Haula would get the puck. Scandella would originally get the puck back over to Haula, up to Zucker, who would just explode. Again, Haula going towards the net, drawing the defender his way. Could not see Jason Zucker behind him, who was streaking towards that net, and he would finish on a really nice pass by Erik Haula. Good night for Erik Haula. Point, goal, and an assist. 2 points for a guy who, he's not been putting up the numbers, and the talent's there. Extremely fast duo there, Haula and Zucker. Nice get together here as both Haula and Zucker. That was a big play, the play of the night. It would put the Wild back up, and thank God, as Devin Dubnyk was in net now after that 5th goal by Winnipeg. They had enough. They took Kemper out of there as he was totally off. We might have lost the game 8-5 the way it was going. And Dubnyk luckily was up to the task with 7 minutes remaining or so, 11 minutes remaining, pardon me. And the Minnesota Wild would end up winning the hockey game. Escaped the thing 6-5. One of the ugliest games you ever saw. One of the most physical games as well, even though, again, it was more of a high-scoring game, but there was a lot of penalties, a lot of mess in this one. The Wild would be penalized 5 times, Winnipeg 4 times. A pretty aggressive, crazy game, but the Wild escape once again. And they have taken a 4-0 lead in the series. So complete dominance over the Winnipeg Jets. He had them beat in October 15th, November 23rd, February 7th, and now 28th there. And then March 19th, the final game of the season. The Wild obviously have won the series. They already had won the series coming in. But nice indeed, as we're able to escape. Thank God for that. And then we come to the gem here. Oh, the gem. Let's hear hear what Bruce Boudreau had to say before I talk about it.
Probably a frustrating game walking away when you had the chances you had, and certainly some of the calls that didn't go your way.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I thought we played a really good game. It definitely didn't look like a 40-shot goal game against us, and I thought we had way much better of the play, but there's some bad calls out there. Yeah. Go ahead, ask.
Well, first of all, the disallowed goal, your interpretation.
Okay, Rule 49-2 or whatever, dash mark says an opposing player cannot kick the puck and deflect off any other player. Well, first of all, the puck wasn't kicked at the net. He was trying to kick it up to his skate because it was going 5 feet wide, and they put it in their own net. So I don't see how in Toronto that they're calling it, unless it's a guy they just pulled in off the street that hasn't seen hockey before. Because, I mean, that was surely the play, and I don't get it. And as far as the last 2 calls, I don't know, 2 penalties that we're calling. I mean, you want to give him an Hansel and elbowing penalty for that in front of the net. That's great, but you gotta give an embellishing penalty for the goaltender for throwing his head back as if somebody just shot a bullet and hit him in the head. I mean, that's freaking awful.
Well, that pretty much sums up my thoughts. So, I don't know. I don't think I'm even going to review this game. You know? Yeah. Oh, and Zach Dahl also was claimed by the Columbus Blue Jackets, too. So, they have everything, we have nothing. Whatever. Not quite that bad, but I don't know. For some reason, we never beat this frickin' team. And I remember back in 2003, I still remember because that's just kind of the kind of memory I have. Before our nice playoff run where we went very far, the Wild's first playoff appearance, you go all the way to the West Finals and you win 2 Game 7s on the road. You come back from 3-1 twice. We did a Cleveland Cavaliers twice, right? You know, this cocky team's ahead of you 3-1, and you come all the way back and beat them. Pretty fun, pretty exciting. You beat them on the road in front of their fans, but Columbus during the final week of the season, as the Wild were getting ready, they lost 4-0. They got their ass handed to them. There was like a 5-minute penalty. You know how those don't end. You know, 5-minute power play. You know, despite if you score a goal, the penalty doesn't end; it just keeps coming, and that's basically what took place. Both goalies were awesome in this game. Okay, Bobrovsky, Devin Dubnyk, unbelievable the entire night, unbelievable. And the Brandon Saad goal, well, you know what? It is what it is. Nick Foligno getting the puck on net. Brandon Saad kind of just crashing that net, putting the stick on it, just getting just enough momentum to get that puck to slide through. And that's what it took. I mean, to get one bleeping goal on Devin Dubnyk. He was unbelievable. Before that, though, the Wild should have had the lead. And again, you heard Bruce Boudreau describe it. I don't need to describe it. He described it perfectly for me. I mean, you know, it's just, and you saw it, you know, I thought it should have been a goal. I agree with Bruce Boudreau. You know, it's like I'm not a perfect expert on every little rule and all that because there's all kinds of bounce of the puck type of stuff. But normally that's a goal. I mean, it went off the defender. He didn't. I don't know. It is what it is. He was just trying to gain possession of the puck to his stick, but it went off the defender. The defender came in, slid in the way, and knocked it in. It probably should have been a goal, you know, and it absolutely should have been a goal. And whatever. Here we stand today with a frustrating loss. Outstanding play by the goalies the whole night. So many opportunities. Devin Dubnyk, though, just stood on his head the whole night. I thought Columbus controlled the puck possession a lot in this game, and I mean a lot, until that third period when the Wild were insanely good. And it was fun to watch. But Columbus was just a tiny bit better those first 2 periods, I thought. Just a little bit. But then again, later in that second period, the Wild looked better. It did kind of feel like the New Year's Eve game, but Dubnyk was so much better than that New Year's Eve game. I mean, so much better. Just awesome. That third period by the Wild was outstanding, but Bobrovsky, to his credit, stopped everything coming his way. 18 shots on net. All 4 power plays thwarted by both clubs. Awesome penalty kill. Poor power play by Columbus, as they have the worst in the last several games. They've had the worst power play in the league, about 7%. So it just is what it is. They've been on a very, very disappointing tear with their power play, and luckily the Wild didn't have to get them back and on track again. So that's the good part. Dubnyk, incredible the whole game. Again, that's what it took. Just a tiny little squeak of the puck, and of course, Evil Otto struck again, and it was Brandon Saad. There was Evil Otto with that wicked little smile. Evil Otto. I'm going to call him that until he retires from the league, because that's who he is. Frickin' son of a gun. And of course, again, you know, it had to be a former Chicago Blackhawk. It's just, and they just keep winning, and they get all the notoriety on national television. The Wild have been getting some, to be fair, but it seems to be favoring the Blackhawks in a big way. And now, luckily, at least the Wild have 2 games in hand thanks to their bye. But the Blackhawks trail the Wild by 1 point. 1 point. Again, this is a heartbreaking game, and of course the penalties late in the game after the Wild's momentum throughout, getting so many shots on net. Those late penalties, again, that were just, they were ticky-tack penalties. It was extremely frustrating. And again, it's not even if they're ticky-tack, it's the fact that Columbus should have been penalized as well, and they were not. And the frustration would mount again the whole night. I don't know. And you know what? Teams go through these down stretches, and it's unbelievable that the Wild were able to come out of this week 2-1, the way things were going. I mean, you had poor goaltending from Dubnyk in the LA game, poor goaltending from Kemper in the Winnipeg game. You have, you just keep losing the battles in the neutral zone. You don't clear the puck out of the crease. I mean, the crease, oh, for God's sakes. It's just the puck is just laying there so many times, and then you give up so much space to other players. You miss on Gaborik and Prosser. If only he could have got his stick on that puck, Gaborik would have never scored, but luckily the Wild again escaped. But 4 goals is a lot for Dubnyk. That's a lot. And I know what's going to happen. Luckily, you're able to come out because your offense was ready to perform in that one. And Zucker just awesome all week. Granlund just, wow, what a finish. I'm thanking God in heaven that we were able to win that game. And again, for the Wild to escape Winnipeg, the way that was going. Again, just like it literally ended in a lot of ways like the Colorado game. Game 7, it had to go to overtime after trailing, tie it up, trail, tie it up. You come all the way back, you win. You just hang right in there. And the competitiveness of this team that refuses to lose, I appreciate it very much. And this Columbus game, a team that's been, they've been through a downtrend of late. And I think the Wild at the moment are kind of on a downtrend, but it can end very quickly. It just depends on when. It depends on when this team is ready to kind of put the clamps down again. And luckily they did in the Columbus game, but will this continue again next time around? Still, 40 shots a net is a hell of a lot, but Dubnyk, again, up for the challenge. I think, again, the defense could have been a little better. I think the puck possession could have been better. I mean, Columbus won so many battles in the puck possession, and that frustrated me, yet the Wild still, again, only allowed 1 goal. Too bad. It's such a shame that the Haula goal didn't count, and that maybe, just maybe, you go into overtime and get them there. Just maybe something gets past Bobrovsky again, and things go in a very positive direction. 40 shots on goal by Columbus, 38 by Minnesota. Fun game in terms of the competitiveness, frustrating in terms of the score and the outcome and the penalties and this and that, and the non-penalties going the other direction. Extremely frustrating. So it is what it is. Yeah, I don't know. Let's just move on. Mike Modano Award for me is Mikhail Granlund, the guy who's leading the way for the season at this moment for that award. He is the front runner. Tyler Graveock, honorable mention in terms of what an improvement he has been. And again, seeing Tyler Graveock on the wing, you're seeing a better player. Again, a guy coming off the center and going to the wing is playing better. Mikhail Granlund, Coyle, this and that. Coyle played better at center this year than he has any other year in the past. But remember how so many times that Coyle was just mediocre as a center, and then you put him on wing, oh, he's pretty good, And then now Granlund on wing, and he's a freaking all-star. And Tyler Graveock looks better. He does. So it just is what it is, man. And Jordan Schrader's been very good as a winger as well. When you don't have him at center, he looks like a different guy out there. Though at the same time, he can play center. That's the good part. He's not terrible at it. It's just a matter of what's the better fit. Ryan White, same thing. But again, both Ryan White and Mr. Hensel, very capable of winning faceoffs, and that's a good thing. Hansel, one of the best faceoff guys in the league. You got to appreciate that. Mikko Koivu, though, usually the leading faceoff guy for the Minnesota Wild. He won 15 of 25 faceoffs in that Columbus game. Pretty crazy. Luckily, able to go in the positive direction there. Eric Haula definitely stepping up of late, too, and I deeply, deeply appreciate that. Let's look at some numbers here as we wrap up the month of February. Again, this was, of course, March 2nd, the Columbus game. But let's wrap up the month of February, thanks to my buddy Pavel Bonet. Yeah, he likes to keep stats up. He really, and it's awesome. And you get a monthly wrap-up here. Mikhail Granlund, 16 points, 9 goals, 7 assists. Again, he's the player of the month. Not only the player this week, he's the player of the month, as they may start to head in that direction, too, thanks to Pavel bringing these to me. Koivu, 12 points, second. Pominville with 12 points in February, and he missed the last 3 games with the mumps. Wow, Pominville. Just imagine. Odds are he would have gotten a couple points this week, the way things were going. 12 points for Jason Pominville. That's nice. Niederreiter, 10 points, 5 and 5. 5 goals, 5 assists. 5 goals, 4 assists for Jason Zucker, and a couple of very clutch ones, a game winner and a game tire. along the way. Really appreciate the guy against the LA Kings and the Winnipeg Jets. Too bad he couldn't net anything against the hated Columbus Blue Jackets. Spurgeon with 8 points. Nice little surge. Spurgeon had been a little bit quiet in the point department, but still very productive. Holla finishes with the 5 with the 2, and he was able to finish strong with 2 points in the final game. So kind of frustrating there. Stahl only 5, but finally got 1 goal out of it. Scandella 5. That's surprising for him. He's been so quiet. Parisi, as well as he's played, only 5 goals because nobody's finishing on his passes, and he's made some nice passes along the way. And Stewart with 3 assists the month. No goals for Stewart. Funny. 2 goals for Folan. That second one was pretty soft against the Detroit Red Wings, but we'll take it. Schrader, 1 goal, 2 assists, 3 points, and she can continue. Dumba, only 2 assists the whole month. Crazy. And Rayvak got 2 points in the last 2 game of the month there against the Jets. Oh, man. Froster with 1 assist. Yeah, I mean, I could go on forever. And again, the White, only with the Wild, 3 points. Pretty cool in those 3 games. Gotta like that by Ryan White. And again, it was really 3 points, 2 games for him when you think about it, the first 2 games there. But yeah, I mean, I don't need to go up and down like crazy, but it's cool to look at and impressive to see how some guys really stepped up. And Mikhail Granlund, not only the player, the Mike Modano of this week, but the Mike Modano of the month, Mikhail Granlund, and he's been just awesome. Thank you very much. Honorable mention Dubnyk, but at the same time, that Kings game isn't going to give him any isn't going to get him any awards. Pardon me. I should have used the cough button there. Sorry about that. But the James Shepard Room week, I guess it's going to be Kemper, but Dumba also has not been good. I've not been happy with Dumba the past several games. Yes, he was hurt in the past, and now he's just kind of getting the timing back, and who knows if he's still completely healthy. And of course, nobody's completely healthy. And of course, the mumps. I'm going to give it to three categories here. Kemper, Dumba, and the mumps, all deserving of the James Shepard, the disappointment of this show. So there it is. We'll wrap that up. Let's preview some games and talk about the prospects. We are back here on Brave the Wild. Second segment, time to do some previewing, and we'll be talking about the prospects. Yes, sir, we have 4 games to preview. We got the Sharks, the San Jose Sharks, and the St. Louis Blues. It's a little 2-game homestand, and we head up to Florida for 2 games. The Tampa Bay Lightning, the Florida Panthers, and then after that, as we get into next week, I won't be previewing those, but boy, that's going to be a tough schedule. Chicago and Washington on the road. Woo, boy, 5-game road trip, and then wrap things up in Carolina. And then some home away situations, and a little 3-game homestand later on in the month. Yeah, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself just a teensy-weensy bit. San Jose Sharks are coming to town. My buddy Chris over there, again, like I mentioned before, the Pucknology Podcast. Do check that out on iTunes and Double Twist at the bare minimum if it's not on Stitcher. But yep, I was on the show. We recorded it about 2 weeks ago, I believe. And then, he had it ready to air when the Wild and the Sharks play. So that's how they do it. They get things prepared, ready to go. So when it's time to talk about the 2 clubs, boom, there you go. That's a good way to do things sometimes. You got to get ahead. And I've done it in the past, too. I'm doing it with Purple Mafia right now. The Minnesota Vikings, and we talk about state of the Vikings 2017. That's coming up soon. It's a 3-game season series way back on Jan 5th already. Man, 2 months ago to the date, pretty much. Yeah, literally, it's March 5th, Jan 5th. The Wild win 5-4. Pretty nice win on the road, despite at the time the Wild were struggling a teeny bit, but they were hanging in there, coming off of a frustrating loss to Columbus. The Wild start that win streak up again with wins in Dallas and San Jose. Just insanely impressive. I mean, the Wild never win in the Shark Tank. Now the Sharks come to Minnesota for 2 games, March 5 and March 21, and that 21 game will be on national television, a Tuesday night. That Star game there. It's not Star Sunday, but it's a national TV game. Star Sunday is always a lot of fun, too. Hopefully, we'll get some more of those coming up pretty soon. That will not be the case on Sunday this week. But, let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy it. Shark Tank. Let's talk about the Sharks before I put my foot in my mouth here. The Western Conference champions of 2016. Yes, sir. And they probably, I don't know. I mean, most years you'd think they would have won the Cup the way they were going last year, but Pittsburgh was just on a freaking mission. Got a lot of Sharks fans as friends, actually. Of course, like I mentioned, Chris. So the Sharks, I'm a little partial to them now because of that. I didn't like the Sharks before this, but now I'm okay. Drew Bunting over there. Like I mentioned, Chris. You got Chris Porter also. So I know two Chris's. Yep, Chris Porter. Been friends with him for many years on the sportstuff.com. He's one of my earlier hockey fan friends, you could say, for the past 7 years or so. 8 years now. Wow, 8 years. Wow, 8 freaking years. Yep, 2008, early 2008 is when I started into podcasting, and and there he was on the sportstuff.com years ago. He's a Pittsburgh Penguins fan, San Jose Sharks fan, over the years, so it must have been pretty crazy having both of your favorite clubs in the Stanley Cup Finals, but it is what it is. Chris Porter has moved a lot in his day. He lives in Idaho now, but he's from Pittsburgh. He lived in Northern Cal, where with the San Jose Sharks and all that. So cool. Okay, a little bit of background information there. Maybe I didn't need to get too much into it. Former Minnesota Wild player Brent Burns. 67 points plus 25. This guy's crazy good, isn't he? And yes, it took a while. And that's how trades are sometimes. Like Charlie Coyle's taking a while. It took a while for him to get better, and it's taking him even longer to get better, we'll say. The same thing could be happening with Matt Dumba. That's the thing. You get frustrated. The guy was good, but he shows signs of just he's not that good. His defense is inconsistent, and is he this? Is he that? Is he going to be serious about this? Is he, when is he going to break through and become a good player? Become a really good player. Brent Burns showed signs of it. He had 40-point seasons, 25-point seasons with the Wild really early there, and then concussions kicked in and inconsistency and playing forward, playing defenseman. It just kind of threw him off, all that. And, that was the conversation off and on with that. And that's going on with, and then when he went to San Jose, it was kind of the same thing, but still he started to get better and better, and then boom, the last couple of years he's been a superstar. Again, 67 points in 63 games. That's one of the best defensemen you're ever going to see, pretty much. I know he's not quite in the Paul Coffey category yet, but then again, we'll talk about that some other time. Patrick Marleau has been kind of on the decline the past few years, 37 points. Though he has his up and down years. Joe Thornton's ancient, only 5 goals in the year, but 35 assists. He's definitely a playmaker, not a goal scorer at this stage of his career. Again, former number 1 pick back in 1997 by the Boston Bruins. Joel Pavelski, excellent player. He's the best player with the Sharks last year, other than Martin Jones, who's been, he's been good the last several years. 2.28 goals against the average, outstanding. A lot better than Alex Stalock, hey Chris? I remember, we didn't like Stalock too much. He had one good year, and then the big drop off. Hurdle, who's capable of scoring major clips and then disappearing. That's kind of Hurdle. Paul Martin, Mr. Reliable, Mr. National Champion with the Golden Gophers here, college hockey team again. Division I, NCAA hockey. Go Gophers, though losing to Michigan last night. What the it was just.
I mean, that's freaking awful.
Thank you, Bruce. You got me there. Yep, thank you, Bruce. You picked me up on that one, and I agree with that. Yeah, it really, though. Like, really? Yeah, okay, this isn't a Gopher show, but I had to get that out of my chest. Anyhow, hopefully the Wild don't have a freaking awful game in San Jose, or again, at least at home against San Jose. It was kind of a wild one last time around. Hopefully the Wild continue to put the clamps down again. Hopefully they'll get a little consistency there this time around. Devin Dubnyk most likely a net. Let's just get on with this. Who's going to win this game? I feel good about the Wild at home in this one. I don't think we're going to sweep the season series against this club, though. I don't know. Maybe we'll win this one and then just see what happens on the 21st. I'll pick a win. I'm feeling good right now, but so are the Sharks. They've won 4 out of their last 5. They beat Toronto 3-1. I mean, look at the goals against. Wow, incredible. Only 2 goals against Boston. I remember just on that Sunday game, 2 goals against the Boston Bruins. 2-1 victory there on Feb 19. 4-1, 2-1 victory for Boston, that is. And then they had a 4-1 win on Feb 18, and 4-1 against Vancouver, 3-1 against Toronto, 3-1 against Vancouver. Not the best teams in the league, but still taking care of business, and that's what it matters most. I think the Wild will win the game. I like the way Dubnyk played. I think, usually if Dubnyk has one of those awful games, he'll have several games in a row where he's good again. And that's what I'm kind of banking on here, that Dubnyk will continue to be on his game, because if he's on his game, the Wild's chances of winning are just like 80%. He's that good. Yes. I think the Wild will pull this one out. 3-2 victory for Minnesota. San Jose will get 2 goals. I'm sure Brent Burns will get one of them just because he will, because ex-Wild players always score against us. Most likely guy for the Wild to score in the game. Oh, man. It's like you want to just keep saying Granlund, don't you? I mean, and it's like years ago that would have been a joke, but no. Most likely guy to score. Granlund. Yeah, I'm just going to stick with Granlund. I feel very confident about that. I mean, there's all these other possibilities. You'd like to see Charlie Coyle do it against the team that drafted him in 2010, but I don't know. I don't know. He's not been doing it. Only 6 points in February. Let's move on. St. Louis Blues versus Minnesota. Mike Yeo as the head coach of the Blues for the first time coming home. Oh, my goodness. This is the head coach this time around. Minnesota Wild crushed the St. Louis Blues 5-1, and that was the end of Ken Hitchcock. On Jan 26th, Ken Hitchcock officially let go. This time, Mike Yeo is the head coach of the St. Louis Blues. He was the associate head coach and all that good stuff. The Wild have been playing very well against this club. St. Louis opened up the season with victories over the Wild, and the Wild win 2 in a row since then. 2 wins at home. I think the Wild win the season series against this club. Yeah, I think the chances are very high. The Blues had been playing better, and then not so much. I'm not as comfortable going into Florida as I am with the Wild at home right now, believe it or not. The Wild never play well in Florida. Never play well in Tampa. Never play well in Panthers especially. Just for whatever reason. The Panthers could be the worst team in the league, and the Wild don't win there. So I'm not going to go 4-0. I'm not that big of a homer. Tampa Bay is kind of a crapshoot. I don't know, but I'm confident in the Wild against the Blues right now. They just play well against the St. Louis Blues, and Jake Allen still isn't that good. Connor Hutton is okay. Jake Allen's been better of late. Yes, his goals against average has been dropping significantly. Phoenix Copley, I like that name. One of the, right now I would have to say AHL goaltenders for the St. Louis Blues at this stage. Bad Vlad Tarasenko has been awesome. I mean, every time. I mean, he scores every time against the Wild. Every single time. Kevin Shattenkirk traded away to Washington, which pisses me off. Would have been nice if the Wild could have somehow got him, but we'd probably have to give up the freaking moon to get him. Kevin Shattenkirk. Oh, man. I don't know. I guess I don't know. I mean, I guess the Blues just figured forget about it, at least with that one. Unable to re-sign him at this stage. Kyle Brodziak coming back home as well. Been away for a couple years now. I don't know. The Wild should beat this team. I think they will. The Blues had been playing better under Mike Yeo, but the surge has stopped, and you got a 4-game losing streak here. You beat Vancouver 4-3, then you lose. They lose to Buffalo, Florida, Chicago, Edmonton. Now, understandable against those clubs, and I think losing to the Wild would be understandable. I expect them to possibly. I think they'll beat Winnipeg and Colorado, and then lose to Minnesota. So in these next couple games here, I think the Wild win the game. We'll go with the final score 4-2. The Wild win a solid victory and win the season series against the Blues team that took them in the first 2. The Wild will win the season series against the St. Louis Blues. I feel confident in the way this club is able to score against Jake Allen. I mean, and Connor Hutton as well, or Carter Hutton. I just called him Connor. Carter Hutton. I think the Wild should be fine. Nino Niederreiter, I think, is the most likely guy to score in the game. It just kind of is what it is. Bruce Boudreau's a better coach than Mr. Mike Yeo, I think. It's just one of those type of deals. It'll be fun to see again. You would figure if the Blues win the game with Mike Yeo as coach, but I think the Wild win this one, and you'll see Mike Yeo win a couple games in the future in XL Energy Center against us, because it's just going to happen. You know, it just is. It is what it is. Wild will win 4-2 over the St. Louis Blues. Okay, Thursday in Tampa Bay, March the 9th. You have back-to-back here. I don't know. I don't know about either of these games. It's not going to be that easy, even though Tampa Bay's not been very good this year. The defending, they went to the Eastern Conference final last year, and 2 years ago they were the Eastern Conference champions and ended up losing to the Chicago Blackhawks, much to my chagrin and many others. Ben Bishop is gone. Andrea Vasilevsky has been so good. He has been so awesome. For the most part, at least he was against the Wild. So I guess they're willing to keep him around, and then bring in Peter Bujaj, who did not start off well, giving up 4 goals last time around. Vasilevsky was playing better earlier. He's been dropping off a bit of late, yet at the same time, Tampa Bay has won 4 out of their last 5, only losing to Calgary, which is what the Wild seem to do very often this year. Calgary and Minnesota has not been a good matchup. Wow, 4 out of their last 5, so they are making a playoff push. Ben Bishop again, though. Yuck. Terrible start to his career with the Tampa Bay Lightning, and it's been Vasilevsky ever since. At that stage, again, 4 goals against for Peter Budaj in his first game. Kucherov leading the way, 62 points for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Tyler Johnson, Jonathan Drouin, all these solid players. I mean, you'd think they'd be okay. Brian Boyle traded away. The Wild would have liked to have him as a fourth-line center. It ended up being Ryan White instead with the Arizona trade. So at least you got that fourth-line guy in there, even though he's not going to play center, at least right now. Stamkos just can't stay healthy, and it's frustrating for Tampa. That's kind of been the case for so long, and he's been out for a while now, torn meniscus. And when he's healthy, he was inconsistent in the Stanley Cup Finals years ago, and that's a couple of years back, and unfortunate for them. It just, again, is what it is. This is a very winnable game. Vasilevsky hasn't been as good as he was. He was awesome against the Wild a few weeks back. He's not been as good of late, but still good enough to help Tampa Bay win a lot of games. He's got a 500 record on the season, believe it or not. Ben Bishop's been inconsistent, and he was hurt for so long, but healthy now. Of course, again, Bishop now with the LA Kings. If you see Budaj and that, take advantage. Take advantage. Hopefully the Wild can take care of business there and win the game. Regardless, the Wild, this is a winnable game. I mean, you might as well take it and hope for the best. I don't think the Wild will win the Florida one, so I don't know. I'm feeling like something of the likes of, I'm having a hard time. I really am. It's going to be, I'm seeing a 3-2 game, a lower scoring game, but again, good enough for the Wild or Tampa to win the game, obviously. I think the Wild will win. I'm picking a win for this one. I mean, Tampa Bay is just not that good, even though they've been playing better of late. You know what? I'm going to go with a shootout win for shootout/overtime win for Tampa Bay. The Wild will get a point. The most likely guy to score in the game, let's go with Eric Haula. I think he'll net one in Tampa Bay. But I think the Tampa Bay Lightning will get a overtime victory. The Wild will squeak out a point. 3-2 victory for Tampa in this one. I don't know. I hope Kemper is in the net, but don't be surprised, actually. But, then again, yeah. If Kemper's in net, see, it's like you think about the back-to-backs. Let's go 4-3 win for Tampa in that case. 4-3 win for the Tampa Bay Bucks, right? Tampa Bay Lightning. And there it is. 4-3 overtime win. The Minnesota Wild do get a point out of it. Kemper's better than last time around, but not as good. Dubnyk will be the guy in net against Florida, and I would hope that would be the case because Florida's better than Tampa right now, despite the fact they've lost 4 out of their last 5, which is hard to believe considering how well they were playing before that. 4 out of their last 5, but again, tough opponents. I mean, Edmonton, Calgary, Ottawa. Calgary is just, I don't know, they're tough. Their record isn't good, but they're tough. They're hanging in there. Ottawa's good. Philadelphia, well, I don't know. Their only win so far against Carolina. I don't like this game, though. The Wild never play good against Florida. I mean, unless Roberto Luongo just has a terrible game, and he's capable of that. I can't believe he's still around, by the way. He's been around for so long. Again, with Jaromir Jagr as well, Mr. Retirement who's not retired, who just keeps playing like he's just an old-timer in Florida who keeps hanging in there. It's just been awesome. 45 years old, 35 goals for the 45-year-old Jaromir Jagr, again, who beat the North Stars in 91. That's how old he is. I don't know. I just don't like this matchup. It just never works out. Tough. They're just a tough physical club who doesn't score a whole lot. I mean, their goaltending hasn't been that good this year. It's been off and on. It's like you look at things, the Wild should win this game, but they never do. They never do. And if they do, great. I think Florida's going to win. It's going to be something crazy. Let's go with like 2-1. It always is like that. I'm going to stick with it. 2-1 victory for Florida. I just get that weird feeling like if it's Luongo, if it's Raymer, I think the Florida Panthers put the clamps down and have a 2-1 victory over the Wild. And I hate saying that. I do. I mean, they just lost to Philadelphia 2-1. I get a feeling that's going to be us in Florida on March the 10th. I don't know. It's frustrating. Thursday, March the 10th. I think that's going to be the case. I don't know. I've never liked the matchup. Most likely guy to score in this game. Let's go with Charlotte. Let's go with Eric Stahl. He needs to catch up. He needs to get going. Hopefully, you're going to see Parisi or Pominville come back from the illness. Minnesota did beat Florida earlier this season, 5-1. Roberto Luongo was terrible in that game, and I remember that very well. He's inconsistent, he's crazy, but it's just in Florida. I mean, the Wild usually win at home against Florida, but in Florida, it just never works out. Once, maybe every 3 years or so. And I just have a creepy feeling it's going to be some really low-scoring game, and Florida will squeak it out. Maybe the Wild get a point, maybe not. I'll just say no right now. It's just a prediction that Florida will win the game, and the only guy to score in the game will be Eric Stahl. He'll finally get another one, and he's definitely in need of that at this point. So there it is. 2-1 loss in Florida. Let's look at the prospects, shall we? Yes, sir. We're going to open things up with the Iowa Wild. First and foremost, let's talk about Mario Lucia, unfortunately. He has suffered a broken clavicle, unfortunately, and he is going to be sidelined 6 to 8 weeks, unfortunately. It is what it is again. 22 points for Mr. Lucia, the son of Don Lucia, 9 goals, 13 assists on the season at the AHL level. He's been starting to show signs the last month or so, and then kind of dropped off. It was like about a month ago he started showing signs of starting to really step up a bit, and then starting to drop off, and now a broken clavicle, out 6 to 8 weeks for Mario Lucia. Very unfortunate. Hopefully he'll be back, ready to rock and roll. I mean, Olofsson had shoulder injuries last year. Maybe coming into the summer, Lucia will continue to improve. Maybe he'll make the club outright, or he'll just have a big year in AHL, and we'll see his first NHL action at some point in the next season. Overall, very quiet week for the AHL's Iowa Wild, of course. Timo Pulkkinen still the leader in scoring, but of course no longer with the club. He's now with the Phoenix Coyotes. So officially the leading scorer of the current players is Alex Tuch. Cool. Pat Cannone, the career minor leaguer, 24 points. Mario Lucia, 22. Grayson Downing also traded in the Arizona trade. So everybody's going to Arizona. Grayson Downing to Arizona in the prospect system, more than likely the AHL. Olofsson, Anas, Sam Anas, all the other guys. Not much going on. Mike Riley added an assist about a week ago. Adam Gilmore is still down with the Quad City Mallards. Quiet week. He added, well, actually he's got 4 assists so far for the Quad City Mallards, but did not add any points the past few games here. It's been quiet. Also, they haven't been playing a whole lot of games as well. They've been having like big breaks, and it's kind of weird. And it seems like every other game they win like 1-0, 2-1, or they lose 4-1. Just not a whole lot of goal scoring and inconsistent goaltending. Particularly Steve McCulloch, who occasionally has great games. Alex Stalock has been really good though so far this season. 2.48 goals against average. Again, I mean that's not fantastic, but it's good. Ryan Carter's been down there 3 games so far, no points, couple penalty minutes. So Ryan Carter's still kind of getting his feet wet again, playing hockey again. Tyler Graovac, excellent, had a hat trick about a week ago before the trade. Just before the trade, he had a hat trick and then came back up with the Wild. So Graovac definitely been on fire of late. That last send down for Graovac was definitely a motivator, especially the fact that he cleared waivers. Nobody wanted him, type of thing. He's been a different guy, and hopefully he keeps it up. Again, a hat trick at the AHL level for Tyler Graovac. Very cool. Very cool. Even Dmitry Sokolov, not been quite as awesome this week, but then again, they haven't played a whole lot of games. At 63 points right now, 42 goals, 21 assists. Not the best so far this week. But then again, it is what it is. I mean, you're not going to score all the time. It's just you're not going to score all the time. So let's bounce around a little bit here. Let's talk about Avery Peterson of the Duluth Bulldogs. The Duluth Bulldogs always beat the Wild for whatever reason. It's so frustrating. Avery Peterson and Carson Soucy, a couple of Duluth Blue Dogs. I keep calling them Blue Dogs. Bulldogs. It comes out really bad. I keep thinking of Duke Blue Devils or something. Carson Soucy, Avery Peterson, both members of the Duluth Bulldogs. Again, NCAA Division I hockey, one of the best teams in college hockey right now. Carson Soucy, big, strong defenseman for them. Avery Peterson, center. Let's look at Soucy really quick. Again, still nothing going with the points. She's been stuck at 15 points for the longest time. Not bad though. 3 goals, 12 assists. Still career highs at the hockey level, the NCAA hockey level. in the NCHC, former WCHA. I miss that. But yep, he'll be hopefully getting at least to the AHL level next year. Carson Soucy. I don't think he'll be at the NHL level, but AHL. And if he's at Quad City, that's not a good place to be for most prospects. Sam Morning also not a whole lot going on with the Quad City Mallards either. He'd been on a little tear and it's gotten very quiet. Avery Peterson 2 assists last night for the University of Minnesota Duluth. Of course, he was with the University of Nebraska Omaha the past 2 years. Again, only 14 games last season. And we'll talk about why. Only 1 assist in that case, 10 points this year in 16 games. Not too bad. Nice to see him coming back, ready to go. He was taken in the 6th round in 2013. Soucy was taken in the 5th round of 2013, back-to-back. They ended up going to the oh my God, Duluth Bulldogs. Wow, I am just losing it with that one. Let's talk about Avery now, if humanly possible. Thank you very much, Pavel Bonnier. Him and Marek Skyba from the Czech Republic both created MNW players. MNW players, do check that page out. They were kind enough to allow me to be an admin as I post on there on occasion. They let me post on the page as well, The Brave, the Wild, but do some editing here and there. As you know, the English might not be their first language, so I can it's not their first language, so I can help out a little bit with editing and such. But also maybe post an article or two here and there, or just some comments and updates and such. So here we go. Avery Peterson's story. As he was drafted in 2013, late 6th-round pick, immediately after the draft, Peterson started to show big progress. 65 points in 25 games at the USHS in 2013. Very strong there. 21 points in the USHL in 27 games at that stage. Good start for that. And then he was moved to the NCAA. Again, 21 points, like I was mentioning earlier, with Nebraska Omaha. Only 14 games the next year. Only 1 assist. What happens is he left the university because his brother, who was suffering from a rare illness called metachromatic leukodystrophy. Pardon me. Evan Peterson was diagnosed with a genetic neurological progressive terminal disease in early 2013. The coach of University of Nebraska Omaha said that Peterson didn't talk about it much, but it was certainly something he struggled with. So this was a reason of Peterson's bad results. Yep, very distracted in that case. So very unfortunate. Say Minnesota. We'll continue the article. Probably many Wild fans registered this story, but few know that Peterson is back. He plays with the U of M Bulldogs. Yep, 6 goals, 2 assists. Now it's 4 assists in 16 games. Pardon me. Not the greatest numbers ever, but a strong start at the beginning anyway. And now he's starting to pick it up again. Hopefully things are starting to roll here. You never know. He might make it to the NHL, maybe not. But it's good to know that Avery's back. He's doing his job at Duluth University. Does not matter whether he will play with the Wild or not. I think we give him our fingers crossed. Yep, so hopefully for the best again. And about his brother, after undergoing a bone marrow transplant, his sister was the donor. Wow, bone marrow transplant in 2013. Evan appears to be handling his ailment well, although the nature of the disease leaves plenty of uncertainties. Even so, he continues to inspire those around him because sometimes it's more than hockey. And great job. Thank you very much, Pavel. And God bless Avery Peterson there in that. And Evan Peterson, of course. Interesting story. So that's why Avery Peterson he struggled and then disappeared, and now he's back with a different team. And, he's playing a little better, and hopefully, you never know, maybe he will make it. Maybe not. Nice to see him maybe make it to the AHL or Quad City, whatever it is, and go from there, I suppose. It's just one of those things. I mean, life is, there's more to life than just hockey. I do agree with that. Luis Belpedio, at this stage, 17 points on the season in 24 games for Miami University, was hurt last week. 17 points thus far this season. So hopefully he continues to... He gets healthy and gets kind of back in the swing of things there. The captain of Miami University there, very cool, in Ohio, University of Miami, Ohio. Jack Sadek with the Gophers. Yep, one of those, again, just physical stay-at-home defensemen. Nick Boca, same thing. Both of them taken in the 2015 entry draft. And again, both what they are. Boca still just 3 points on the season. Sadek 7 points on the season. Boca had 10 points last year, so big drop off. But again, Michigan was a better team last year. Kirill Kaprizov, his season is over as they lost early in the postseason, unfortunately. But Kaprizov, well, let's see 2015 again with him. Man, let's get him over here. Let's get him signed. Let's get him over here to the United States. Man, get him into the AHL as soon as possible. I can't wait to see the guy. Jordan Greenway. 8 goals, 19 assists, 27 points so far for Boston University. Again, the sophomore, but still as good as sophomore as there is out there. And that's about it in terms of him. Luke Kunin, again, Kunin, 35 points on the season, continuing his tear with the University of Wisconsin as they're still fighting for that Big Ten. You thought the Gophers had it wrapped up as they were able to win last week, and then now here we are. We lost again to Michigan. Now we can only hopefully settle for a split. How bad is that? Luke Kunin, 35 points, 20 goals, 15 assists. He was the last feature presentation of this show. And next time around, we'll be talking about the Wild goaltenders in the system. You'll hear me about Kaipo and others. That'll be cool. Indeed. Any other notables right now? Curtis Gabriel got in a fight by the locker room. Very stupid there. Stupid. He's going to be suspended, and that's not going to help his cause at this stage. Curtis Gabriel, not very impressed with him. Kind of an out-of-control goofball. Kaipo Kokkonen, we'll be talking about him next time around. Other than that, really, for the prospects, that's kind of about it right now, to be quite honest. Again, I mean, Iowa has been quiet, and the Quad City Mallards, they haven't had the best week either, and they've had so many games off. It just kind of, again, is what it is. The player movement, Zach Delp over to Columbus. Again, Polkinen to Arizona. And again, Grayson Downing to Arizona in the big trade this past week. Again, a first-round pick, a second-rounder, and a conditional pick, depending on how things go. If Hansel is not able to play a certain amount of games, it would definitely drop off into the 4th-round pick range rather than a higher pick. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm guessing Hansel will stay healthy, and it'll probably be a higher draft pick, unfortunately, but in that case. But the fortunate part is Hansel will hopefully help lead the Wild to a Stanley Cup. That's much more important than maybe losing a draft pick, as again, you're getting a wave coming in, and certain guys aren't going to get to the NHL because of it. So yeah, I mean, that's where draft picks are a little bit more expendable at this stage, even though it really sucks giving up a first-round pick, because you just never know what the future holds. You never know which one of these guys is going to be good, is going to be a bust. I mean, you don't know until they're in the NHL and for an extended period of time. Even the first couple of weeks or something, they're on a tear, and then they drop off, and you never hear from them again. They're just not what you expected, and the frustration starts to sink in. So let's just wrap things up here with that. I want to thank all of you. Please do join the Brave the Wild Facebook page. It is facebook.com/bravethewild.minnesota. Facebook.com/bravethewild.minnesota. I think the past couple of weeks I forgot about the .Minnesota part because Brave the Wild's already taken by something out there that I don't even know what it is. So it's just one of those things, so I had to add the .Minnesota part. That's unfortunate. Maybe I should have just put .mn or something else. But, well, it is what it is. I did get one response, again, from Benny Allen from Australia. He says that he isn't wrong, though, when we're talking about Bruce Boudreau. I put the whole press conference on there from Fox Sports North on the Facebook page. So, yeah, I agree with Benny Allen there, without a doubt. Yeah, gotta get a little more interaction on there, but thank you, Benny Allen, though. Keep posting if you could. It would be appreciated. And others out there that have been listening, please post on the page if you could. Pavel or somebody out there. Thank you very much. Do join, do like the page. There's the phone line. Again, do like the MNW players. Again, that's another page, again, that we work together on. And do join that. Like that page. Like the Brave the Wild page. Follow the Twitter at Brave the Wild, and then there's the call-in line, 209-736-7877, 209-736-7877. It is a voicemail. Do treat it as such. Mention you're calling in for Brave the Wild, and do your statement, shout-out, comment, question, whatever it is. Opine. Talk for 1 to 3, even 5 minutes if you really want to. Again, there's the phone line there. Then there's the call now button on the Facebook page, which puts you directly to the same number through Facebook Messenger, so you don't have to worry about long distance if you're not from the United States. And the other route is the audio submission route, using the voice recorder on your smart device or whatever it is. Maybe you just use Audacity with a microphone at home, and then just email it to paladinolive@yahoo.com, paladinolive@yahoo.com. All of this information will be in the show description, so there it is. If you just want to cut and paste or copy paste, that type of thing. And then, of course, please do give a positive rating on iTunes. Dying for that out there. Give me a positive rating on iTunes if you could. Would be greatly appreciated. I will mention you on air, give you a big shout out and a thank you. Until next week, hopefully hopefully the mumps go away. Hopefully no one else is affected. Zach Parisi, Jason Pominville, get well, please. And of course, again, Scott Stevens, get well also. Also sick with the mumps, so please, hopefully things can get cleaned up there and get rid of those mumps, and it doesn't affect anybody else. The rumors are it was Vancouver, that's where it started from, and then it just started to finally take effect after about a month here. Man, hopefully things can improve in that category, and this isn't a big outbreak again. Oh, please, Lord, don't let that happen. Take care, everybody, and hope for a very positive week, because things are going to get even tougher into next week.